I do not even know what to say. There's a mirror prism on this planet, and it was coming from artists picking up data from the air or the clipith in the astral planes. So you have people like J.K. Rowling, you have the writers of Divergent, Hunger Games. I don't even know what. I'm sorry. I don't know the authors' names. And they're all writing about the same exact people, but different angles and different storylines. But they're picking up on old dramas, old patterns, old storylines from dating back to Egypt that are still being played out until it's A&R'd or cleaned out. These are repeated behavioral cycles within the underworld clipith that still emanates into the middle or regular worlds of today human society. This is why when Chris Pratt pings me and pushes me hard enough, I go, oh, you're Aries. And then I get an entire download of who and what Aries is and every single mirror of his in the astral world or in today's Hollywood society. And what character he plays in like each little thing. And it would take me 5 minutes based off of all of the clipith data to receive that psychic feedback. It's very simple. It's very pragmatic. In the astral planes, you don't die, you reincarnate. So it's all that data stays in Yesod. One of the darkest mirrors that we can't seem to handle or reconcile, they're all kind of dark, but it was the Handmaid's Tale. This was going into deep Netzach and psychological conservative tyranny horror. The mirror prism is, I'm that main strong girl like Hermes, and then Kellie is Alexis Bledell's character. So it's Archangel Chabael and Archangel Zadkiel, and we're just under the tyranny prison of the system trying to burn everybody out. You see how the two of them are the apex? That's Archangel Chabael F and then Archangel Zadkiel F, and like they work together. There's too much seedy corruptness. So that's not the reason why. It's all of the amputations and FGMs and gang rape and sexual slavery and using people as cattle because the reptilians lose their fertility or ability to even like procreate because they're so lack of anything. This is a really scary mirror prism. You're not really even allowed access to it in like a psychological, I can handle this actuality. Like this is the actual issue on the planet today. Until Ravenclaw comes in and pink marks. Until you start doing your ribbons. When you start doing your ribbons, your brain turns to Netzach instead of Hod. Let me say this again. When you start doing your ribbons, let's say you did 10,000 hours of Japa Mala. That's repeated Hod in your brain. Om like which what I'm gonna slaughter just an entire mantra just to get my point across. So like the Gayatri mantra, and you do it 1,000 times, and it takes you 10,000 hours. I had 3 mantras, so I did the Gayatri mantra. I did the mantra for my soulmate. And then I did the Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. So for Ganesh, get out of my way, like remove those obstacles. So when you do that with the beads, you're like accessing Hode neural wiring, and then it emanates into your astral field, and then it moves the energy. When you do the knotting, it's the same, but then you also have a knot to add. So you have like you have physical materia that you just did, so it's 10 times more effective. So you start wiring your brain and your astral energy in a Netzach way. The planet ascension is to go from Hode to Netzach. Let me say this again. Nobody on this planet makes their own clothes. Nobody on this planet knits. Nobody on this planet makes their own vegetables. Nobody on this planet produces their own materia. We source raw materials and then like industrial age made it manufactured for us. So the planet ascension is actually like a reversal of society, because that kept us in reptilian Hode robot. Instead of I have the ability to knit, I have the ability to sew my own clothes, I have the ability to grow my own produce, I have the ability to collect rainwater and then create miracles with it, like healing magic. I am blessed by Divine Goddess, which begins at Netzach. So there's like a deep pun within the Handmaid's Tale, because like everything moves to Netzach, where everything becomes handmade. But it's like those people also get kidnapped, amputated, sold into sex slavery, because they're the beautiful, healthy, smart people on the planet. And they get sold into reptile houses. And yes, people will get kidnapped to produce elevated children for another individual's family. So this, to a normal, everyday spiritual person that sits at Hode and just does Om all day long, I need to stay positive, is a real problem. They somehow think they're ignorant and arrogant. They're sitting on a planet of 8 billion reptiles that are going to do this to them. Let me say this again. They're sheep that do not understand. There is a cabal tyranny prism that is going to use them and try to breed them and use them as slaves. They will do their best to use them at all cost. Me and Kellie are at the apex of the angelic world, and we are not free at all. Let me say this again. Me and Kellie are at the apex of the angelic world. And we are not free at all. And everything is it like there is nothing better. Like there isn't like Baba G. So what happens in the brain for a normal spiritual person is to diverge into death. Let me say this again. I don't need to handle my real life or my physical gross body. I am more than my physical existence. And then I will just die. Okay. So that's a dumb person. We have been trained illegitimately by reptiles that wish to to feed off of us for infinity. That it's just you go to heaven. All right, I wake up in my lifetime. I get activated by a spiritual person and my kundalini goes up the wazoo and I have a billion past life memories. So that's not we just go to heaven. And what it is my soul reincarnates into a body, whatever, and then I have a million memories and experiences, and then it's all Clippeth data. And it's not more. Okay, so moving forward on this planet is the Handmaid's Tale. Oh, wait, we have our abilities to do our nodding. Oh, good. So when we do our nodding, that will make you feel more like a handmaid than anything you've ever experienced in your entire life, period. You will feel at that space more enslaved because you're out of denial. Let me say this again. You will feel more enslaved in the physical world existence, like you're a handmaid, than you ever did before. And this is not because you're more a handmaid. It is because your physiological data system and your self-awareness is now awake and present to your actual situation. Let me say this. You have compartmentalized your entire mathematical situation. There is no moving forward. You're gonna have to suffocate on ribbons and A&R work. There is no moving forward. You will die and reincarnate and still not move forward until you hit Netzach with the ribbons and the A&R work. There is nothing more. There is nothing more up the tree of life. There's no angels that are, I am the angel here to save everybody. There is no ascended master that's going to rescue you. There is nothing. This is the accurate, dark truth that nobody wanted to deal with. Now, I engage with the FBI as sophisticatedly and intelligently as possible to, at least in the West, prevent hundreds of children's arms from being cut off. from people being stabbed in the eye, from like I have done my very best. That is Archangel Kamael's level of saving you. To work within this system, to be able for all of us to dig our way out. There is nothing other than actively doing the physical labor to change the quantum fields of this planet, inch by inch and day after day. We have upgraded to the highest CRI analysis on this planet, which means we buy the best products and eat the best food to change and manipulate our physical DNA to the highest return, the highest professional athlete level return on investment. So what do I do with my brain in my off hours? What do I eat to make sure that I have an inch to move forward against my competitor athlete? So we have successfully analyzed or begun the meat to be able to churn our bodies into our own vessels of savior or saving grace. And it's gonna look like the Handmaid's Tale. And that's Ravenclaw. We're going to have to fight people who will want to kidnap and steal our body parts and then sell them on the black market. That already exists in society today. Most of us are just privileged, and so we didn't think that it applied to us. And then when you hit the gate where there is no escape and only cyclical return to deal with, there is nothing more. There is courage, self-sacrifice, intellectual pursuit. So The Handmaid's Tale is also the preface for Lucifer Ishmael. So was gonna be writing Lucifer Ishmael, and it is about these the people that sit at like the seraphim or the Hashmalim that are sitting on the edge of the abyss, digging their way through and enslaved at the same time by the society. So that is the premise of Handmaid's Tale. So that you have Archangel Kamael and Archangel Zadkiel. It would look different because we still are undergoing all the astral assault, all the psychic phenomena, the magic phenomena. They didn't add all of the spiritual, the spiritual witchery to it. So Lucifer Ishmael would include all of it. But when you look at the situation in Iran and you understand the bigger picture, we're headed into World War III for our own freedom. So you have a bunch of children that don't want to wear a hijab, that are going to be or standing up against the current system, and they're being executed based off of their right to stand up and protest. There is no right to stand up and protest. Now the problem is that we're gaining access to ability where we have the capacity to mutate ourselves physically. So we have the ability to stand up and protest. We didn't have that ability before. So the situation's different. So now it's the Handmaid's Tale. Now you're hunted down as a prize because you're a witch. Instead of beckoning for religious freedom, so that's a mandatory mirror that you need to reconcile in your brain when dealing with your children. Safety precautions with yourself. Making sure you're in relationships or friendships with people you trust with good Clipith data instead of false gurus that will sell you. So we're gonna like register A&R marks down the line as soon as possible, though, too, because we don't even know who we can trust that even has done that work. You will find that you're not going to trust anybody that didn't do the ribbons. Let me say this again. In life, oh, the A&R work, that's great. You did all your, cool. Did you do your ribbons? Where are they? What colors did you do? What are all the different thoughts that you got? What are the different lessons you learned? You're going to learn that you're not going to trust people who didn't do your house color ribbons. You didn't do the Ravenclaw house ribbons? I'm not allowed to talk to you about, like, anything. You're in 7th. Oh, so, and then you go to your 7th house. Oh, like, you're not in our 7th house clique? I'm not allowed. Like, that's a CIA professional lockdown. Definitely not allowed to talk to you about anything. You're not in the House of Carmyle. You're in the House of Jophiel. You didn't do the House of Carmyle ribbons? Just nothing. So that is gonna be the level that people's brains will end up operating at. Please disprove me. I am open to being disproved. I have seen absolutely nothing at this point to the contrary at all, including Chris Pratt in the astral planes going, I'm in Ravenclaw and we're doing House of Carmyle, and I don't trust anybody that doesn't do the House of Carmyle work. Period. And both of us have to do the Gryffindor ribbons on top of it. So, and I have to do the House of Lilith ribbons, because that's another special house. That's another 7th house. So, there isn't The House of Lilith is closed, by the way. Much like the House of Kamael. You Have to Be Blessed by Angelina Jolie, Madonna, and Emma Watson, and myself to be in the House of Lilith. All four of us. And Anna Wintour. Anna Wintour. Yeah. It's a collective of really dark femme alpha women that are not dark with their dark femme. And have exceptional DNA. Like a Vogue personality or a Vogue exterior. And it begins in the underworld. I will have an exceptional presentation ability with the highest level of craftsmanship and poise, posture. From a soul level. You see how Emma Watson's got dark femme, but she's not dark? There is no getting off of this infinity train. Let me say this again. This is a psychological, spiritual, physical manifest infinity train. And it includes The Handmaid's Tale. Your job will be to attune to nature at its highest and more perfect form than you can handle. You will learn sacred geometry through your handcraft. Not less. That's an ascended master position. An ascended master doesn't need to be nagged about this either. They need to become aware and prepared. And if they can disprove my situation by becoming the grotesque hero that rescues Archangel Kamael F, by all means, please do. I will not trust you until I see the 7th house ribbons on top of the 3rd or 4th house ribbons, on top of the Repello Squibtum ribbons, on top of all of the A&R work, etc., etc., etc. All right, I think we've come to a close. Colleen Wren out.